A Guide to Hijab in the Operating Room. How to address barriers that prevent hijab-wearing women from pursuing careers in surgery. Now, surgery is a field that is ever evolving. However, minorities and females have been substantially underrepresented in surgical subspecialties. It is imperative to address the disconnect and to determine ways to increase the diversity of surgical subspecialties. Specifically, though, hijab-wearing Muslim women have found it difficult to find a balance between donning compliant religious attire and maintaining modesty, while also complying with hospital and operating room regulations. Some of the current makeshift accommodations include wearing a shirt underneath your scrubs or wearing a bouffant over the hijab. But those two, while they do comply with religious obligation, do not comply with the hospital and operating room regulations and attire. Based on alternatives for hospital personnel in other parts of the world, and based on what's available from companies that supply operating room clothing, alternatives have been identified. With this, the initiative for hijab in the OR was developed. This provides a guide to hijab in the operating room, a very feasible option that could be accommodated in hospitals across the nation. The first step is to contact the appropriate personnel. To reach out to those who have the ability to make these changes, such as the HR manager, the OR nurse manager, or the clinical director or clerkship director in the medical school. Making them aware of this initiative and the options available will really help ease this transition and remove these barriers. Next is to update your intake form. Whether you are an institution or a clerkship director, when you accept a position as a resident, as an attending, or if you're rotating as a medical student, indicate on your form that you'll be requesting accommodations to wear in the operating room. This way, everything can be streamlined for you before you start. Making sure that you wear the proper substerile attire. Now, with these accommodations in place, you can comfortably wear your hijab and appropriate clothing that complies with hospital regulations. This includes wearing a long-sleeve scrub jacket, a surgical hood, and a comfortable slip-on hijab underneath your surgical hood. Now, per OR regulations, every single piece of outside fabric has to be covered. So if you are wearing your hijab from outside, make sure that you are completely covering it with a surgeon's hood. The long-sleeve scrub jacket will be disposed of after you scrub in, and then you will be wearing a long-sleeve sterile gown on top of it. Next, rock your hijab in your scrubs. It's going to take some time to get used to at first, but wearing a slip-on hijab with the surgical hood over it is the best and most feasible option for compliance with substerile environments of the operating room. Once you scrub in and don on a surgical gown, you'll be completely covered. You'll be following sterile environment of the OR, you'll be complying with all of the infectious disease protocol, and you'll be ready to operate. For more information, check out Hijab in the OR. On the website, you can find a copy of the policy, as well as the intake form, infographic, a video on how to scrub in with hijab in the OR, as well as other resources so that you can make this accommodation at your hospital.